Did you know that over 80% of Google searches are attribute based? This makes optimized product titles and descriptions a necessity, not a choice. In fact, titles alone can unlock 30 to 50% more PMax conversions. That's why we're incorporating the right product attributes in your titles, and that is more crucial than ever. Whether you're struggling with getting your products noticed, managing a large catalog, or just want to maximize your Google shopping performance, you're in the right place. In the next 30 minutes, we'll reveal exactly how can Alex help you with that. So, Alex can help you with feed audit and optimization, title optimization, and improve PMax performance. We'll show you exactly how Alex can do this effortlessly while you sit back and relax. Without further ado, let's welcome our speakers, Anshuk Aggarwal and Sriram Subramanian. Anshuk is the co-founder of BigAtom with over 10 years of experience working with global D2C brands like Puma, Levi's, Hunkamola, and Sephora. Anshuk has managed ad spends worth over $100 million. Over to you, Anshuk.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Happy to be part of the webinar today. And we have also, like Harleen mentioned, we have realized that Google feed optimization is one of the very big levers to scale e-commerce. This is the age of AI, where a lot of targeting is done by Google and Meta platforms. As a marketer, we have realized that the quality of feed is very critical for you to scale your campaigns. I've been in the performance marketing space for around 11 years now. Have seen the entire inception of D2C commerce in India, right from 2015 onwards. Have personally interacted with over 100 plus founders over the last 10-year period. And we're also one of the top 10 partners of Meta in Asia Pacific and one of the top e-commerce partners of Google. So a lot of what we speak about today is based on our learnings working with Google and Meta over the last decade, and happy to sort of share them across in the webinar today. Back to you, Harleen.
Thank you so much, Anshuk. Next up, we have Sriram. Sriram is the Associate Director of Product at BigAtom with over 7 years of experience in building B2B products in the ad tech and e-commerce space. He has worked closely with D2C brands to develop tools that improve performance across paid channels and enhance e-commerce conversions. Over to you, Sriram.
Thanks, Arlene. Hi, all. Very excited to take you through Alex, our FeedAI agent. We have incorporated a lot of intelligence which we have got out of working with Google and Meta as partners. We have built in a solid AI agent who can be one of your team member and take care of all your feed related activities. Excited to take you through that.
Thank you so much, Sriram. So let's get things started with a quick poll. You'll see it on your screen now. So, what percentage of your current ad spends are you investing in PMax campaigns? Request everyone to please participate. I would request everyone to please submit in their responses. Thanks for your responses. Now, I would like to welcome Anshuk to kickstart this exciting session.
Thanks, Harleen. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon again. So this is going to be the agenda for today. We'll start with talking about key attributes in Google Merchant Center and its impact on performance. I know many of you have been running PMax campaigns, which the poll just showed right now. We'll also talk about what are the critical feed parameters and specifically double down on title as one of the key feed parameters. I'll talk about how optimizing feed titles manually is complex. Maybe show you a quick video around the same. And then I'll obviously ask Sriram to join in and talk about Alex, which is the feed AI agent which we have built. And we'll talk about one success story of a brand and how do you get started with Alex. So we'll probably spend around 10 minutes each talking through this. We have a Q&A towards the end. Please keep your questions pouring in. We'll be happy to take these questions. I know there's a lot of excitement around vertical AI agents. So do ask those tough questions. And Sriram is the expert here. He should be able to answer many of these questions for you. So jumping straight into it, this is slightly, I think, crowded slide, but I know many of you are digital marketers. This is exactly as per Google best practices on what are all the attributes which are critical to feed to scale your performance max campaign. So we have divided them into 4 or 5 categories. I would highly encourage all of you to maybe make a note of them. This is very important. Number one is basic product data, which is mandated by Google. These are mandatory columns like title, description, link, images. This is without this, you can't run your PMax campaign. Second is product attributes. Now, many of us actually ignore these product attributes. These are like color, size, gender, material. While they are not mandatory, I'll talk in my subsequent slides as to why they are super critical and why all of you should pay attention towards these product attributes. Then, of course, there are product category, which is categorization of products, product identifiers, which is your GTIN, MPN numbers, and price and availability indicators. All of these, when put in your PMax campaign, helps you scale your paid and organic marketing. And the call out here is Alex, which is our agent, will help you improve the quality of each of these attributes. And that's why we have put a slide here just to help everybody realize that feed is actually a complicated concept. It has a lot of attributes to it. And someone doing it manually will have to pay attention to each of them. And all of them have their own nuances. They have their own best practices recommended by Google and Meta, which is why it's complex to really maintain your feed hygiene. Now, a very quick call out on why these attributes are important. I know I spoke in the previous slide that color is important, material is important. This is a very nice screenshot on shopping. So if you see at the top, there's shopping, which is underlined. This is Google organic shopping. Now, I know in India, many of us don't really pay so much attention to organic shopping, but the volume, but these are the free traffic which you get from Google. A lot of people go to Google, click on shopping and start searching for products. Even if you're not running your Performance Max campaigns and you have sent your feed to Merchant Center, your products will be available on this shopping. And a lot of people clicking on these links will bring in free organic shopping clicks to the website. Many of us don't track that, but this has been live for the last year and a half in India. So I would highly urge you to go back and check how much free organic shopping traffic are you getting from the shopping listing. One of the things which people do on these pages is to filter products. You can see this nice color filter which we have put on the screen. These filters are not necessarily color. It could be color, material, any of those things. Just like you will filter on Amazon or filter on Myntra, you also get to filter on shopping, Google Shopping. And this is exactly why the attributes are very important. If we get all the right attributes, the products will be easily filtered on shopping, which means your products will be discovered more easily, which means you can get more clicks coming on the website. So that's a small call out on why these attributes are important. The second point which I want to call out today is while all the attributes are important, one field which is super important as per Google also is your title and description. And actually, even within title and description, title is the most important. I've given an example of this product called Tokyo Ginza PRT. It's on a brand called Lotto. Now, we understand that your products on the website can be named very differently by the brands. But the key point here is people searching on Google may not be searching Tokyo Ginza PRT. In fact, what people might be searching on is the more common attributes like sneakers. These are the keywords which people typically search on Google. And that is exactly why getting your title right is important. Because if we send the title Tokyo Ginza PRT to Merchant Center and run PMax on top of it, you will be losing out a lot of people who are searching sneakers on Google, and our products may not be appearing on the top. So this is a reason. Also, Google does not auto convert this. You might feel that, okay, this is a sneaker. Google knows that if somebody is searching on sneakers, the product might come, but they don't auto convert titles to match the common keywords. And in many ways, title optimization is like the SEO for e-commerce. I know all of you have known about SEO. You might be using keyword optimization to get your organic listing up. Think of title optimization as exactly that. Find the right keywords based on products, add them to the titles, and in many ways it acts like SEO. Um, the second example which I want to share today is of this brand Rare Rabbit. Now this search on the screen is Mandarin gray collar shirt. Now Mandarin is a type of collar, Chinese collar. Some of us might know that. Gray, of course, is color. You're searching by a specific attribute of the product. What you see on the screen is the number one product is Rare Rabbit. Rare Rabbit men's Cox gray cotton polyester fabric high neck Mandarin collar shirt. And the reason it's coming number one is because the title has all the right attributes in it. It has the brand name, it has the gender, which is men, it has the color, which is gray, it has fabric, polyester, it has collar type, Mandarin. So if you get all these attributes into the title, anybody who is searching for any of these attributes, the product starts to appear on the top. And this is an example of paid marketing. You can see sponsored written somewhere here, but the same happens on organic as well. So now that we have established that title is important, I want to spend some time on what are the best practices of title, right? This is one such example. It's an example of a brand in the women ethnic space. So Ritu Kumar is the brand. And as you can see, we have laid out the entire structure of the title. And this is as per Google best practice. It should contain brand, a service which could be handmade here, print type, style type, length, product type, material, sleeve type, color, size. So as you can see, the number of attributes is actually quite significant. We have at least 10 attributes on the screen for this particular category of product. And the final title, which is recommended by Google, is looks something like this: Ritu Kumar, handmade, parsley, pintuk with vest, tie up, and knee length dress, shifly, half sleeve, pink, small. So this is the kind of the title which is recommended. One big call out here is, and this is a myth buster also, the title on the website and what we send to Merchant Center can be completely different. And this is also as per Google best practice. So what you see here on the screen is the title which we send to Merchant Center. We don't need to update the same title on the website. The website is optimized for readability. You want to put the title which people can read easily, which resonates with your brand name. But the title which goes to the Merchant Center is actually not optimized for readability because people don't read this title on Google Shopping. As you can see, only the first few words of the title are actually visible on Google Shopping. It's optimized for discoverability. So if you have the right attributes, your product will be more discoverable. On the website, you want to make it more readable. So that's a big question which we keep coming across, that does the title on the website need to be same as on the Merchant Center? And the answer is no. Both of them are completely independent of each other. This is the work we have done with the help of Google. We have created this entire taxonomy. And I'll tell you what I mean by taxonomy. The attributes for each category are very different. I have highlighted a few of them on the screen. So for formal shirts, wrinkle-free is an attribute. For formal suits, two-piece and three-piece is an attribute. And for shoes, athleisure and jogging is an attribute, right? So the point here is every category has different attributes, and that is exactly why we need a taxonomy to define which attributes are applicable for which category and in what order should these attributes be stitched together. We have the entire taxonomy which we have created, and we'll probably share a link of it during the webinar as well. Feel free to download the taxonomy. It's a Google document which has around 30 odd categories which we have co-created with Google. The point being that if a brand has, let's say, 20 different categories, the title has to be optimized separately for each of those 20 categories because the attributes for each category could be very different. Right? Now, I spoke about this example of 20 categories. I wanted to show a quick video also on how it can be done on Excel, which is something we were doing for the last 6 months. So this you see is a slightly complicated Excel. You can see the taxonomy being filled into column D for Delhi, where we have this brand, gender, color, product type sort of put in there. And then we concatenate all these attributes onto the Excel. But the point to call out here is the attribute itself is difficult to generate. So how do you get color? How do you get product type? How do you get fit? How do you get sleeves? You can see all these columns which has on the screen, column L, M, N, O, P, Q, which has all these attributes in it, right? So the traditional way of doing feed optimization is for each of your products, fill all the attributes. I'm assuming one person in your team will probably take a few days to do that. Then you bring everything into Excel, you put those concatenate functions, you concatenate the title, and then you import and export this title into Merchant Center. So this is the manual way of doing it. The challenge there is every time your products change, imagine you add 20 new products to the website, the process has to be done again. Not only that, a lot of times seasonality also changes. Events come up, like for example, we just had Women's Day last week. So what if you have a gift pack which is relevant for Women's Day? You may want to add Women's Day into the title. So the point here is titles are very dynamic. So even if you do one-time feed optimization of titles, it may not really suffice. It's not like it's like fire and forget sort of a situation. So that sort of summarizes my section for today. The I hope I was able to call out attention towards why is feed important, and within feed there are different parameters which are important. Title being the most important one. We have a nice poll coming up for people. Maybe Harleen, you can help us fire the poll. Have you ever optimized your feed titles and descriptions on Google Merchant Center? There's a poll for all the attendees. Do let us know.
Request everyone to please submit in the responses. Request everyone to please submit your responses.
Nice. So we've got a good number of responses. I think 80% of people have said that they have optimized their feed titles and descriptions. That's actually incredible. I'm sure if there were Google people listening to this, they would have been super happy to hear this. I'm sure there is more which can be done to optimizing titles and descriptions, but let me just pass it on uh, to Sriram, who will talk about how titles can be optimized or how feed can be optimized in the age of generative AI and what we have been building over the last couple of quarters. So I'll stop my share screen. Over to you, Sriram.
Thanks, Anshuk. I hope it was a detailed walkthrough of all why feed is important and what are these important attributes. And I'm sure people must be wondering how are they going to handle this large Excel sheets of multiple attributes, right? So that's where Alex comes in. So the idea of Alex is that instead of you having to manually go through these documents, identify all these taxonomy, and then create such large Excel sheets to manage your products and trust me, it's not just a one-time process. You need to do this every time you add new products to your catalog. So introducing you, Alex, our feed AI agent, which we have built to help you do all of this manual task in an automated fashion. Alex will be more like a member in your team who's doing this. It's like hiring a new person. You can hire Alex to do this for you. Uh, yeah, moving ahead. So, how is Alex different from ChatGPT? We have always got this question asked by multiple people that, okay, I can do all of this with ChatGPT or let's say Gemini, but how is Alex different? So, Alex is different on two areas. So, one, reasoning and basic knowledge. What I mean by that is, let's say if you want to understand what is the basic structure of your feed, what are all the policy for each of your products, when does it get disapproved? All of this is pretty much general information available online which any company can help you build. And then let's say you use ChatGPT, you use Gemini, they'll help you with identifying that. Now, where does Alex differentiate itself? So first thing is in-depth expertise on feed best practices. So as Anshuk also mentioned, we have been Google and Facebook partners for quite a long time now, and we get a lot of insights on what is the best practices for feed. That we have provided Alex with those training. Let's say, for example, taxonomy for each industry is something which is not publicly available. So that's something which we have co-created with Google, and Alex is trained on the taxonomy. So what should be your feed structure, title structure for each of your category? That's something which you have given as an in-depth expertise to Alex. So that's one area where it differentiates and has a much better understanding than any other generic AI mechanism which you use. The second biggest area where Alex differentiates itself is that it's not just a solution where it just tells you that, okay, this needs to be done, and you will have to go and manually do all of these changes. Alex differentiates itself on doing that action also for you. So it just doesn't stop itself from telling you that, okay, this is the title you need to update. It also takes the title, goes to your merchant center, and updates your title for you. So that's the ability to execute real world actions. And that essentially helps you from doing this manual redundant activity multiple times on merchant center on your Excel sheets. Yeah. So this is a real world example of what Alex would be doing. So again, think of Alex as your team member, right? So at 8 p.m., out your office hours for sure, you get a disapproval message from GMC saying that, okay, one of your products or some of your products have got disapproved. Now, Alex gets to know about it by around 8:05, and then Alex scans your Google Merchant Center and then finds out that there are some titles which you recently updated on your website, and those contain some specific keywords which are not approved by Google. Let's say if you are a health and wellness brand and you have made a claim that, okay, this is 100% natural, then that's against the policies. Now, what Alex knows is that this is against the policy because it understands Google's policy specifically. It fixes this change. So it removes the keyword which you have specifically put, which is not going with the policy, and updates your Google Merchant Center with the new title by 8:15. So within a span of 15 minutes, Alex identified what is wrong with your feed. It picked up the right fixes to be done onto the feed and pushed the feed onto your Merchant Center. So 15 minutes, your feed is all again live. Your product which got disapproved has now been approved, and your campaigns are running as usual without any interruption. If there was no Alex, then usually this gets lost post officers. You just see it on the next working day, which is technically you are again losing close to 10, 12 hours. And then once you come back, you find out what is wrong and then fix it. So it usually takes somewhere between 12 to 24 hours for us to get this fixed. By that time, your campaign optimization could take a hit, your learning could take a hit. And you could have performance fluctuations in your campaign. So that's what we try and help you prevent using Alex. Yeah, so I'll rather give you a demo of an Alex so that you get to know what is there. So yeah, okay. So this is Alex interactive screen where you just put in your name and you have few options to play around with. Let's say today I'm asking Alex to audit my feed. Alex goes through my feed and then it finds out that, okay, it gives me a grade of F, and it tells me that there are 12,000 SKUs which is affected, and gives me what are all the reasons why it is affected. So for example, let's say I found that, okay, 9K products out of my catalog is currently having a incorrect color or missing color. So I asked Alex that, okay, can you help me fix color across all my product titles? And what Alex does is that it is trained on all the attributes like what type of color should be there. It goes through your description, it goes through your titles, it also goes through your image and then finds out what is the color of the product. So it takes up the color, fixes the color onto your color attribute so that it can be used for your Google shopping organically. When someone is searching for a category and using the color filter, they'll be able to pick up the right products. And second is it also happens the right color for you in your title. So now your title has color added to it. So it's an optimized title compared to the previous title which you had without colors. So yeah, so now it has fixed the color. I am also asking it to fix all the other attributes where it found that it is having an issue. So it has added most of the other attributes which was missing, and it has also given me what is an improvement score from the previous title which I had. Now comes the important part. Can you also push this into Merchant Center? So this is my real world application which we spoke about. So Alex doesn't just tell you that, okay, this is a new title. If let's say you're doing this in ChatGPT, it could probably help you get this new title, but doesn't push it into Merchant Center. Now, if you see over here, I asked Alex, can you push this into Merchant Center? I said yes, and it has created a supplementary feed for me and pushed this into Merchant Center successfully. So it takes care of your end-to-end optimization of your feed, identifying what is wrong in your feed, helping you fix that, and also push it into your merchant center so that you don't have to do any of this manually. Just let Alex take care of it and be rest assured that your feed is updated. So yeah, so that's what we have in Alex. Now, a case study. This is something which Google published along with Adyogi, and this was for a brand called Bewakoof. So Bewakoof is a casual wear brand which sells t-shirts and merchandises currently. And they had a problem of their products not appearing on top of search results and also in PMax specifically. When we went through their feed, we found out that they missed a lot of important attributes and what Alex did over there is that it identified all these attributes, just like I showed you in the video. It took the correct taxonomy, which is this brand, gender, product type, attributes like material, collar type, sleeve type, and it created new titles for Bewakoof and pushed it into Merchant Center. So this resulted in them getting close to 5x improvement in their paid traffic and 5x improvement in their TMAX conversions. So it's not optimizing your campaign budgets, it's not optimizing your targeting. All we did was just changing the right titles. That kind of tells you that how much of an impact could title bring in terms of your conversion. So it can help you increase your conversions by 5x by updating your title and descriptions. So that's the actual case study, and this is published by Google, working with us in terms of enabling this plan with the right title optimization. Yeah, so this is in summary. So we work with close to 350 plus global brands, and I would again reiterating what Anshuk mentioned that we are partners for both Meta and Google, and we have been working with multiple top brands like Sephora, Levi's, Clarks on enabling them on the right catalogs. Just a call out, we also have a similar offering in marketplaces too. So we help brands optimize their Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart listings too, and they also have their own way of looking at your title, descriptions, and bullet points. So Alex also is trained on helping you solve your marketplace feed issues. Cool. Back to you, Helene.
Yes, thank you so much for your incredible insights, Sriram. I hope the audience enjoyed meeting Alex and is excited to have him as the AI-powered teammate. With that, we come to the exciting part, your chance to get started with Alex. Just scan the QR code and let the magic happen. So I will request everyone to please scan this QR code. We are now opening the floor to questions from the audience. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box and we'll take them up for you. So we have our first question. What's the minimum requirements and information Alex needs to start analyzing our feed? Sriram, would you like to take this one up?
Yeah, I can take this up, Khalid. So, the requirements we have is usually we start with products, brands who have products of at least 500 products in their catalog. So, where Alex can come in and be handy for you in removing the manual task over there. The second is in terms of what information do we need? All that we need is to have you connect your merchant center to Alex, and Alex should be able to get your current feed, help you optimize your new feed, and then push the information back into your merchant center. So the onboarding process is pretty seamless. You just talk to Alex. Alex will ask you for your merchant center. You connect your merchant center to Alex, and rest all is automatically taken care.
Got it. I would request everyone to please send in your questions in the chat box. Sriram, I have one more question for you. Do we need to make changes manually after Alex's recommendations, or can it be automated?
I guess it's definitely automated. So the last part of the video which I showed also, we automatically push these changes into Merchant Center. So that's one of the value adds which we bring out of Alex. It is how it differentiates itself from ChatGPT or a Gemini. It identifies the changes and it also pushes the changes into Merchant Center. So no manual efforts from your end in terms of optimizing your feed.
Right. We have one more question. How is Alex able to figure out the best practices for title and description generation? Anshuk, maybe you can take this one up.
Yes, see, the best practice for title and description is something which we have been working with Google on. This is a project which has been going on for the last 3 quarters. And in fact, we use something called title and description API from Google, which is called as Tides API. And it's a part of Google Product Studio. So some of you might know that Google has launched something called Google Product Studio. As part of Google Product Studio, they have something called Google Product Studio Text, which is what we have been working with them. It's currently not available to everybody. Google has done a very limited launch, and we are one of the partner agencies of Google which has got access to the title and description API. So what we have done is we have taken this API from Google. We have trained Alex to use this API. We have also created the taxonomy, which I showed in the previous slide, and again given the taxonomy to Alex to sort of go through. So the way it works is when any title needs to be optimized, Alex first picks up the taxonomy, identifies all the attributes, creates those attributes, and then sends a real-time API hit to title and description API, generates the title based on Google's API, and then does an server-to-server communication with Google Merchant Center because it has already been granted access to it, and then updates the title as a supplementary feed. Slightly technical there, but the reason we update as a supplementary feed is because you might already have a base feed which is running on Performance Max. We don't want to tinker your existing feed at all. We only add 1 or 2 columns as part of supplementary feed. And the way it functions is if the supplementary feed is available and you have a new title there, Google picks up the new title. If it's not available, then it reverts back to your base title on your base feed. So the goal is to really make it as seamless as possible and sort of not tinker anything with your existing campaigns. And this entire training of Alex is what we have done, which is if you read about, there's a lot of excitement around vertical AI agent, which is basically pick up a chat GPT and make it an expert of a vertical. We have done the same. We have picked up chat GPT, which is OpenAI APIs, and sort of made it an expert in the marketing field. And that too, within marketing, we have made it an expert on the feed. And we have also given it the power to make actions on your Google Merchant Center, which is something which we get as part of the onboarding process. So that's how the whole thing looks like. Back to you, Harleen.
Thank you so much, Anshuk. We have one more question. I have a skincare brand and our products get disapproved frequently. How can we avoid this? Sriram, would you like to take this one up?
Yeah, I can take it up. So I guess one of the pointers which I mentioned as Alex's capabilities is that its ability to understand different policies which Google has and different ways of playing around with your taxonomy to get your right titles. So more often than not, we have seen healthcare brands face issues in terms of not having the right policies followed in terms of titles descriptions. So Alex can definitely help you identify where all you're going wrong, and then also suggest changes on what needs to be made or what needs to be removed from your titles and descriptions to ensure that your products are not getting disapproved. So yeah, one of the important areas of Alex is that it's trained for multiple industries. Let's say one example is healthcare. Second is in terms of electronics. You have a lot of nitty-gritties on what is the specifications, what are the aspects of each product. So Alex is trained on industry by industry so that it can tackle all of these nuances and then help you get the right output out of your feed title.
Got it. Another question which we just received. How do we migrate from a current feed management solution to Alex without disrupting campaigns? Sriram, I think you can take this one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is also a very, very valid question we get asked a lot of times that, see, I don't want Alex to mess up with my campaigns. I know as performance marketers, we always have this concern that, okay, I don't want my campaigns to go for a toss. Yes, Anshuk also pretty much answered this question last time that we handle it as a supplementary feed. So that I'll probably maybe take a couple of seconds on what a supplementary feed, right? So there is a main feed which you give to Google where you mention all your attributes, and that's what Google uses for your campaigns. You're filtering your PMax campaigns on top of it. Now, supplementary feed is like an additional data source which you're giving to Google that, okay, I want to just change one of these columns, and the column change which you're going to do, for example, here is title. Supplementary feed will just contain the ID and the title column. So it's not going to mess up with any of your columns like a category which you are using for campaigns. So that's how we do it. So but you don't have to migrate your existing feed. We do it as more like a add-on to your existing feed, so you can keep continuing with your feed provider and just get this enrichments done via Alex.
Got it. I would request everyone to please send in their questions if they have any. We've just received another question. Does title optimization only guarantee success for PMax campaigns, or can it have an overall effect? Anshuk, do you want to take this one up?
Yes, yes, certainly. So Performance Max is the core campaign type for e-commerce. We all know that. Even at Adyogi, if I tell you about 80% of our overall budget on Google actually goes into PMax campaigns. And this is also a 2-year-old campaign type from Google. If you, many of you know that it started with shopping campaigns, then it moved on to smart shopping campaigns, then it sort of launched PMax campaigns. Now there are a lot of levers to optimize PMax campaign. uh, we have an internal list of around 20 odd levers at least to optimize it. I can talk about a couple of them for the benefit of people. Like structuring the PMax correctly is important, right? And the best practice is you have a category-wise PMax campaign, maybe for your top 4, 5, 6 categories, and then you have a catch-all PMax campaign which contains all the remaining products and categories. The second is making sure that you are putting the right assets into your PMax campaign, right? We keep changing assets, the performance improves. How we're allocating the budget and bid to PMax campaign, which is target ROAS, right? Then there are parameters around, are you giving the audience signals to PMax campaigns or not? Are you selecting the right products in the PMax campaign? So imagine you have put up a PMax campaign for shirts and you have like 1,000 shirts. Do you want to run all the 1,000 shirts in the PMax campaign? Or do you want to only run those shirts which are your best sellers or where you have high gross margin or which are your new shirts, right? We strongly recommend that product selection is important, and we strongly believe that it's one of the biggest levers of scaling PMax. Now, these are all the different sort of levers to optimize a PMax campaign. The way I see feed optimization is, think of it as a layer on top of it, right? So you have this bunch of vertical features which you can play around with to optimize PMax. But if you get your title right, it has a multiplier effect on your overall PMax performance. So I would position it this way, that you definitely need to pull all the levers to optimize PMax. But at the same time, if you can get your feed right, your overall performance will get a multiplier. The multiplier could be like 1.2 or a 1.3, which means that if you were earlier getting like a 3x, you will now be getting like a 3.6x on your PMax campaign. And also to call it out, that feed is not only a multiplier for your PMax, it's also a multiplier for your organic shopping. So even if you are not running PMax and you're getting free shopping clicks like I spoke about, feed will help you get those also. Back to you, Harleen.
Right. I think we have, yeah, one more question. We have seasonal products that require different attributes throughout the year. Can Alex help manage these transitions? Sriram, would you like to take this one up?
Yeah, a very good question actually. So we often in India we come across a lot of events, a lot of changes. So there is Holi coming up tomorrow. We have a lot of festivals, right? So whenever there are changes according to season, you might also want to add these information to your titles in a way that it can probably catch the attention. So people might be searching for, okay, I want a specific type of dresses during Christmas, for example, let's say. So there, Alex also understands seasonality. It also understands events, and then it helps you identify. So, for example, you can go and ask Alex that, okay, I want to update my feed for Women's Day. Find out all those products in my catalog which can fit into this Women's Day, and just add Women's Day to it, right? So that's something which you can do using Alex. But yeah, to answer to your question, it understands the seasonal context and helps you optimize the title for multiple season and events.
Got it. Another question which we've just received, does title optimization impact only the paid marketing or organic listings as well? Anshuk, maybe you can take this one up.
Yes, so it impacts both. It impacts both paid and organic. Paid is your performance max campaigns. Organic is if you go to Google and go to the shopping tab and you search for any product, that's the organic, free organic listing. We have seen around 10 to 20% improvement at least across both. Having said that, we have some great case studies like which Sriram spoke about, where we saw a 5x increase in the PMax campaign. So depending on where your existing titles are, how optimized are they, the amount of lift can be generated. If they are not optimized at all, then we can expect maybe even 2x, 3x, 4x improvement. If you have already optimized them to a great extent, then we would probably expect a 10-20% improvement across both paid and organic.
Got it. We've received one more question. How many attributes should one add to the title? Is it important to include all titles as per taxonomy, or we can avoid some? Considering a home furnishing brand where attributes can be more than clothing or skincare. Anshuk, maybe this one is for you.
Yes. So there is a limit of 150 characters as per Google recommendation, right? For title. So, uh, so what typically is the recommendation is you can go try to include as many attributes as possible until you get to 150 characters. And we did an internal assessment that if your attribute is like some 4, 5, 6, 7 characters each, then easily you can get around 12 to 14 attributes in your title before you touch 150 characters. So my recommendation would be that from a home brand, identify what are all the attributes which are critical. When we also do one more thing which we probably didn't cover today is we look at the monthly search volume for each of these attributes. So ideally the attributes which have higher search volume are the ones which you should be including. Attributes which don't have search volume, you probably don't want to include them in the title. So step by step, one, identify all the right attributes. Second, you can go to Keyword Planner and check the search volume for them. Third, start appending them to the titles until you get to 150 characters. 12 to 14 attributes I feel can be appended. Beyond that, if you still have more attributes, then I would recommend you can drop them because 150 is the max limit which Google recommends. I hope I was able to answer that. Back to you, Harleen.
Thank you so much, Anshul. I would request the audience to please submit their questions if they have any. Thank you so much for this insightful answers, Sriram and Anshuk. With that, we come to the end of our webinar. A huge shout out to the panel for their amazing, amazing insights, and a special thank you to everyone who joined us today. Stay tuned for our next webinar. We'll keep you posted.